Why'd you move your feet?
Why did I move them forward?
Yeah.
So that's what I previously did, and now I've been trying to move them back farther.
Yeah, let's leave them back there.
I feel like I can actually push down. When I'm back farther, I feel like
I don't want you pushing down.
Really okay, no pushing
That's
down.
what's picking your butt up. You're pushing down and the butt's going up.
Okay.
You have to push this way along the bench. So, is it okay to touch you?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, start in from the back of the bench. Have a seat back there. Yep, just pull yourself right under. Have a seat. Uh-huh. Now what you're going to do, I'm going to block your feet so you can't move them. You're going to come under and you're going to lift up off your shoulders off the bench. And I'm going to pull your hips up, set your shoulders down, and then set your hips down. When we get into that position, which you're not going to like at all, but you're on the right track with it already, but it's going to be more, okay? I want to get more weight up on your shoulders. I don't want weight down here. Nothing happens down here. This is where you bench, right here. It goes from here to here to here to here to where?
My shoulders? I'm sorry, what is that?
Don't hold it here.
Okay. Oh, you mean
so the bar,
back and the
I want it to go back here.
Uh-huh.
And this is going to push on what?
The bench?
Yep. And then what's the bench going to push on?
The floor?
Yeah. Nothing happens down here. It goes straight from here, as straight a line you can make, down to the ground.
Okay.
Don't come down here. Don't put anything down here. You're just going to hold that tight. So let's come through one time and just. Yep. Good. Now, can I touch it? Mm-hmm. It's okay. Pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up. Sit down. Okay. Now that weight has to be there. Now grab the bench. Grab it hard. Okay, now can you pick up your hips? Push them up. You can't. And you're not supposed to be pushing up anyways. You're supposed to be driving this way.
So what do you try to think about if you're driving backwards?
You can rest. Get out of that. You can't stay in there long. So did your hips come up?
I don't think so.
I don't think they could.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, so, and this also becomes difficult to judge because now, even if the top of your ass is up, the bottom is touching and it's going right to the hamstring. And so it pretty much always looks like your butt's down.
So when you say driving back, but your feet shouldn't be doing anything, so then where is that driving back coming from?
There's no driving, you just flex back.
Okay.
Lay on the bench for
me. So you're just squeezing everything back.
Lay on the bench. I'll show you why. Okay. Just lay down. You don't have to get an arch or anything. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to hold very, very still. I don't want you to move on the bench, okay? So tell me when you got that position that you're not going to move. You can brace yourself up there.
What do you want me to do with my legs?
Whatever you want. Okay, y'all still?
Yeah.
Tight? Okay. So if I push here, what's moving there? What's moving here?
Well, kind of everything.
Yeah, why? Sit up. Same reason this moves. Give me your arm. Now flex your arm and don't let anything move. This is what's in contact with the bench. And you can flex your muscles all you want. Mm-hmm. So how are you going to get rid of this motion?
Right.
You're going to stretch it in one direction and hold it there. Now it won't move anymore because you've already got it stretched. So you get on the bench, you lock your shoulders down, and you slide this way as far as that skin and anything that's loose will allow you to. Mm-hmm. And you unloose it, you tighten it. This way, not this way. Mm-hmm. You never drive your feet down. You're going this direction.
So when you get down there, do you want anything to be flexing or changing aside from, okay, I'm pressing it up and squeezing my lats and all that stuff, but instead of being like, okay, now heels down, I'm squeezing this and that, like what do you want?
I'm not sure that I understand the question.
So like
ask it a different way.
Yeah, when you get down to the bench, you're kind of okay, I need to use my whole body to drive it up.
No.
So what do you want?
You use the bench to drive it up.
Bottom. Okay, so all that kind of driving against it is coming from the back, and like arm instead of.
If you were gonna, stand here for a second, I'll sit down. What I want you to do is, I want you to jump up in the air.
Oh, I don't know if you want me to do that.
Just a little bit.
Okay, it's very dangerous.
Okay, now if you wanted to jump higher, which way would you push?
I'll bend my knees.
Or which way? Which direction?
You just got to push down and go up.
Yeah. Push down, go up. Same thing. Push down, go up.
Okay.
So, do you understand that you have to push against the shoulders?
Yeah.
And the bench to drive the bar up?
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be lifting
Yeah.
the weight.
So the
You
same
should
thing
be
I'm thinking about
driving
but just from
backwards.
here up, not the
So it goes straight down through your body into the, and nothing happens down here. You just see me scooting here?
Mm-hmm.
That's just the skin. So if I take this, all the play out, now I stay just tight.
Mm-hmm.
So now I don't move. But see, if I relax that, I move.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just taking the slack out of your skin and your body and then holding it. That's all. All the drive comes from the shoulders up through the chain.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the question then.
No, that answered it.
Okay.
I just didn't know
Good.
which way to think about it if you're not really
Well,
thinking about
you
like,
think about it the
driving
way that you
heels
do,
down. Yeah.
but the pressure, lay down on the bench for me. Just put an arm up like you're gonna bench. Give me a hand. So if I push on this, okay, now you're still holding here. Let this travel down to the bench. Okay, now here, hold me up here. I'm gonna lean on you, hold me right there. Now what's holding me?
Shoulder and
Right, now let that go, let it go. Now keep keep your arm straight, let it go. Now what's holding me?
shoulder, arm.
No, shoulder shouldn't be.
my hand
The bench. Your bones should be the only thing holding me. It should be easy as hell. But now hold me here for half an hour.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Now let it go back to the bench. Transfer this down into the bench, and then straight down into the ground. You can hold that forever. So that's where you drive. You drive this way.
Okay.
And don't think up. Think back. Bury your shoulders into the bench.
Okay.
And nothing happens down here. Once you lock it up, and you saw how I got you in there, and you can have somebody put you in.
Okay. My other problem in a shirt, I have a really hard time keeping everything locked in back there when I'm in a shirt. Like,
Okay.
I have a tendency to kind of, especially once I get down here, to kind of smush everything up, round over and.
Yeah, that won't help you.
I know. So that's.
That won't help you. You gotta keep that back. So what's the question?
Do you have any tips for doing that in a shirt? Since it's it's easy for me to like without a shirt on, just be like, okay, I'm all packed back. Then I get that on. And it
I
gets
just
all
think it's
fucked
hard.
up. Yeah,
It's just
get
hard. You
better
got
at
to.
it.
Yeah.
Don't
So
fuck it up.
you can pull your shoulder blades together. Put your hands on my shoulder blades. Okay, so you can bench like this if you like, but you're going to hold weight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my shoulders in and rock up onto my neck, and then I'm going to push like that. So tuck the shoulder blades in, set the shoulders on the bench. The only support you have is the bench, unless you want to hold it.
Yeah.
Well, the energy you spend holding, I'm going to take and put into more weight moving. I'm going to take that muscular work that you're using to hold, and I'm going to put it all on the bench, and I'm going to use that muscular force to move. Right?
Yeah.
That makes sense, right? So you'll have to practice it. Yeah. So I don't know that I have, how to fit the shirt.
Right. Yeah, that's
but
fine.
you're going to have to practice that, and a lot of back work. Get in tune with that back, know where it is, and be able to flex it in. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you see what I did with her shoulder? Okay. So see if you can let the weight sink down past your chest and into the shoulder. Now, can you get your butt any more closer? Set up again. Can you get your butt any closer to your shoulders?
More of an arch.
More of an arch means you don't have to come down as far, and you have the flexibility. You should exhaust that. It's good, it's great, but if you have that flexibility just normally, you can improve that now and get even more of an advantage. That's it. Now, butt close to the shoulders. Bigger arch. Now pull this up. Yep, now shift your weight this way. And as the bar comes down, you reach up to touch me. The bar's coming down, reach your chest up. Good. And that was how much?
Maybe a
It was something.
Yeah.
It wasn't nothing.
That's kind of how I explain with bench. Think of a low row. You don't bring the bar to the chest, you bring the chest to the bar.
Good. Yeah.
Same concept.
Yes. So, and then you're going to bury the shoulders that same way. You can walk them in.
Okay.
You can. It's imperative that they be there when somebody lets go of the weight. So even on the way out, you can tuck them in.
Right.
You know, if this is too high, you're going to be tempted to lift your shoulders to help get it out.
Right.
So you have to let the lift off do
Right.
that. You should never take another lift off or racket yourself again. In training, in warm-up, in competition, never. It's a terrible habit. Don't move your shoulders around with a whole bunch of weight on it. Let somebody bring it to you, set it on you, and then you do your thing, and then they pull it off you.
Okay.
You just do this. You don't do none of this, right?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. So, you know you have a shoulder thing.
Sure, yes.
Yeah, so we want to not use the shoulder if we don't have to.
Right.
So quit taking it out. So I'll lift. Yeah, yes, I do. Absolutely.
Oh, now we're benching.
Well,
That's
'cause
bench.
I can't stick to the bench with a shirt on
Yeah.
ever.
And some chalk is useful for that. Okay. Now, how close can you get your shoulder blades together? Can you walk them in even further? Any more? If you walk them in further, what will happen to your chest? Yeah, walk them in, crunch them in. You should be able to hold a penny back there between your scapula. Okay, now all the weight up on your neck, off of your legs. Good, okay, looks pretty good. All right, now you're gonna lift it out and she get all the way out here. Keep it lifted, keep it lifted, keep it lifted, and then slowly set it down on her, and you let it travel all the way down to the bench. Don't hold it here. Let it travel. See if you can let it sink. Yeah, you feel that? Now, just short stroke it. Arm it down, and then just, now don't follow through. Stay short. Go ahead, take it down. Take it down to your chest. Move it up slowly, but don't touch my hand now. There you go, you shortened it by like a quarter of an inch. Don't hit my hand. Don't follow through with those shoulders. Keep the shoulders on the bench.
Yeah.
You got a quarter of an inch right there.
Yeah.
No, that's more than an eighth of an inch, right?
Yeah.
Rest. That's fine. So this idea is that you're going to let the bar go all the way through your body, past this. So the training for bodybuilding and all your presses has been extend the elbow and extend the chest. That's good. That's good for exercise.
Right.
But it's not good for getting a max lift.
Right.
So it's this short stroke that you want, not this long stroke that you want. Unless you want to do more work. So if you and I were going to have a race, and you're going to run 100 meters and I'm going to run 90, ready, set, go. You see, I have an advantage
Right.
because I've shortened the distance of the race. And the rule is just to lock the elbows here. It's not how far you move it.
It's actually however you start the lift is how you end it. That's how they said it.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
That's a good way to cheat. I reject that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nonsense. Because I'll start right here.
Exactly.
I'll start right here.
I can only walk out this far, so
So you're
You
just
know?
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
So there's a guy named Ted Arcidi, who supposedly was the first guy to bench 700 pounds. But he had bone chips in his elbow. And he did. Poor guy. But there was a guy that wanted to play NBA basketball, and he was only 5 foot tall. Poor guy. They didn't change the rules of the game for him so he could play.
Right.
But they did for Ted. They said, hey, you don't have to lock it out because you can't. So he started taking advantage of that. So he said, this is as far as I can go. Then he just said, well, no, actually, this is as far as I can go. No, this is. So the first 700-pound bench may or may not
Have been
have been legitimate.
legit.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I'm not for that rule. wherever
I'm
that
not,
goes.
but that was the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah, Chris was telling me that too. So see if you can take the weight out and sink it and
Maneuver back. Yep.
pinch it, and that will throw the chest up, but it won't throw the maneuver, the xiphoid up. You got to do that by rocking up onto your. So you're benching probably from here.
Yeah.
You got to bench up here.
Okay.
The more you bench up here, the more you're going to create a decline bench leverage. And this is not very good leverage, but this is.
Because it's almost like you're wedging your whole body under it. Mm-hmm. Right?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I like that. So, this is a lot in one gulp, but
It's not.
See if
'cause
you
it
can-
connects. Yeah.
yeah, see if you can.
Do you take a breath before, or like what do you just so I know what?
3, 2, and then that's. Does that make sense?
Cool. I know what numbers are.
So I had 2 goals and 2 challenges every meet.
Okay.
The first challenge was to put my body in the best position that I possibly could to make it more likely that I would be successful at the second challenge, which was pushing it. So if you work really hard at the first one, your chances for doing the second one are better. So if you rush this and you think, well, I'm good, that's good enough, no, don't take the lift off yet. Or if the lift off isn't right, put it back. Work hard, really hard at your setup. It's every detail, all of it,
Right.
you know? And then you're in your best possible position. Why would you be in a 98 or 97 or 95% position?
Right.
Nobody's rushing you. There's no reason to give up that 4% opportunity. Be in 100% best you can be, then take the lift and then give it 100% at what we have.
Okay.
And maybe it will go. All right? Let's see. Now chest up to me, shoulders back. Now stop. I'm going to measure this. What I want you to do is move your fingers out to the ring right now, all the way out. Maximum legal grip. Just slide them out. Maximum legal grip.
Am I good? Here. Here.
Good.
Okay.
You want me to tell you what we've done here, or do you see this?
I see.
Okay, put it back for a second. I'm sorry. Okay. So again, let's have a race. I'm going to run.
So I don't want to say that super wide.
That's not super wide. That's as much as you're allowed.
Right.
So take it.
Okay.
You're not allowed anymore. I'm not allowed anymore either. So you get more of an advantage than I do. Right? So you're going to shorten that distance. Now you're going to train muscles in a different way. And so when you first do this, you're going to be like, I'm weak this way.
Right.
That's because you didn't train those muscles yet.
Right.
There'll be this grip will be just as strong as your muscles are now when you put the training in.
Okay.
So get used to it.
Yep.
Shorten that stroke. Okay, let's do it again. And then maximum legal grip. And it's going to feel terrible. Okay? But understand that, and then chase this short motion with the drive into the shoulders, up on the neck. Now push yourself this way and then set those hips down. Take the lift. Now, bring it back to me, but try to undercut it. Yeah, there you go. So okay, good. That's it. That looks like about 5 inches. It's good. You can take it in steps, or you can just bite the bullet and get used to it. And so all the training lifts go down, and all your bests go down, and then train those muscles in that stroke, and then you'll go a lot further that way than going this way.
I guess when I was wider and not that close grip, I felt like because I didn't have mass to kind of be that wide, I just stopped training it. and it was just.
You don't need mass if you let it travel to the. There's plenty of mass on the bench.
Right.
The bench has more mass than you do.
Right.
That way you can solve that problem by transferring back to driving into the bench.
Right.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you want to put weight on now? Sure. Great.
How's it go? Okay, so which shoulder is the one that bothers you?
My right.
Okay. So I'll do 3 reps here, is that okay? All right. So what I want you to feel is when you push the weight up, I want you to feel how much pressure goes down this way into the bench, okay? So do it slow enough that you can feel that. Don't explode.
1, 2.
Because you won't have time to sense it. Wide grip, chest up. Let's shorten that stroke. Now let's do 3. Take it down. And then when you press it up, can you feel the push where it's down? Is it on your back or is it up on your neck?
Neck.
Let's get it up on the neck. Good, good. And then as soon as you feel the opposition, so now really drive this one down and give it a shove. Right off the back. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. The harder you push down, the more comes back into the bar. Just like when you wanted to jump, the harder you push into the ground, the higher you go. So the harder you push back, the more success you will have.
Got it. I get what you're saying now.
Yeah?
Okay.
Right? If you're going to jump high, you got to push down.
Right.
You can't push up. you can't grab your head, you carry yourself by the head and pull up.
Right.
You got to push on the ground, and then the ground pushes back and it travels up and it moves your whole body.
Right.
Same thing here. So you're pushing down as hard as you can.
Okay.
And that comes back up. So the squishier the bench, the worse it is.
Right. Right.
I wish it was a board. I'd get more back.
Right.
If we brought your mattress in from home and you had to bench on that, you'd get even less. Right? So this may be cushy and nice, comfortable, but
it's like if
I can stand it.
Grab a ball on Jello or cement, what's going to go higher?
Yeah. Yeah. So for this to work, you're going to have to lock your feet and hips, and then work your shoulders. Pick yourself up again. No, keep your legs there. Keep them there. Keep moving back. These should be pointed towards the ground. So you may have to stretch here a little bit. Okay. Now, stay there and bring yourself towards me here. Yep. There you go. You can use all this. Yeah. All right. Now leave your feet there because you don't need them. It's all right here. It's painful at first, I know. When you first start doing this, your back hurts more after a chest workout than anything else. Short. Don't come up.
Tight.
Short. Don't touch my hand. Don't touch my hand. Keep it short stroking. Better. Okay, there you go. Short. That's it. Okay, why don't you rest? That's good. Okay, so you probably have been encouraged to go very, very fast. Is that correct? Yeah. Well, so have you heard my argument about that? Okay, so you're in this. If you go faster, you're going to put momentum on this, and it's going to pull you up. And you're going to lose position. So that's fine for a 1 rep if you get pulled up, but if you're going to do rep after rep, you'd have to stop and reset because every time you follow through like that, you're engaging these front muscles, and you're lifting from the front of your body. So cut your body in half, front half, back half. You're trying to lift from up here, and I lift from back there.
Yeah.
Where's all my support? Back there. Where's all your support? You're doing it all. So every time you follow through, you're re-engaging that idea that I'm lifting the weight instead of I'm pushing backwards.
Yeah.
So I would encourage you not to follow through like that so fast.
Okay.
And so you don't have to move this light weight that fast.
When you're
Or anyway.
So when you get to like max weights in a shirt, do you still not thinking about I need to move this as fast as I can so I still have that speed once
it's not
I need
fast.
to take over from
it's
the
power.
shirt?
It's force. So quit thinking about speed and start thinking about force. How much force can you put into the bar? The more force, the more it will accelerate. But don't worry about accelerating. Worry about force production. More and more force will move the same weight faster and faster and faster. Or more and more force can move a higher and higher weight at the same speed. So are you concerned at all with how quickly you move your max efforts, or do you want a bigger number?
I'm concerned with when the shirt stops doing it, and then I'm like, oh shit, I wasn't putting enough force into it.
Yeah, that's okay. So you should have put more force into it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to tell me that, force and speed are the same thing, I understand what you're saying.
I don't know enough about math.
But the concept is this for me. It's about delivering force into the bar. Maximal from the start to finish. That's it. Don't worry about how fast it goes.
Okay.
If it's heavy, it's going to go really slow.
Great.
You can try to move it faster, but you won't be able to. But with these submaximal loads, you get into this habit of losing position.
Right.
So just take the submaximal loads and move them, so you don't lose. You can move as fast as you want, but doesn't pull you out of position. How's that?
Yeah. Groove them, don't move them.
Okay. I like it.
Thank you.
So how about a triple?
Okay.
And then just do this. Extend your arms.
Yeah.
You can do it quickly because it's light, but you can't do it quickly heavy.
Yeah.
So it's about force. So when you're in a max situation and in a shirt, it does run out, right? And you're stuck with tricep drive. So where should you put most of your bench press training? Triceps.
Yeah, the few of those did feel different. Like when I was like, okay, now I'm just pushing my back in and kind of rotating my arms as opposed to like, okay, I'm actually extending.
And we can talk about lats and all that, but right now, just get this sense of you're letting the bench do more of your lifting.
Okay.
Let the bench do more for you. It's there and it's the same for everybody. If you can get more out of it, you get more of an advantage from the same allowance. And you don't have to keep doing this at maximal flex today, okay? Because it's going to hurt. But you gotta. So you get about 3 or 4 or 5 of those each workout, and then you kind of got to back it off.
Okay.
All right. So don't worry about that so much because you'll be in so much pain you can't concentrate on this. Let's get this transferred from the bar into the bench.
Yeah.
All right, now shoulders back to the bench. All right, now you have to lock your elbows, but try to come underneath me. Take it down slow, push it back up slow, and see if you can stop. That's nice. That's good. Yeah, you don't have to go that extra. That was really good. Last one. Okay. How was that?
That was good. I was really just thinking about pushing my back into the bench. That was it.
Did it feel heavier or lighter? Or you didn't notice?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, you looked way more in control.
Whatever you can absorb that is going to be instantly usable,
Right.
you can have that for this meet.
Right.
But otherwise, you have to practice this before you take it to a meet. So for the most part, do what you normally do in 3.5 weeks.
Oh,
Don't do any of this.
That's what I do.
Okay.
So
How come? Are you a
just all
fuck
over the
up?
place in a shirt. No, it's just.
No, right. Okay,
Yeah.
so what happens?
It's a great question.
What happens?
I just have a really hard time touching. Like I've been in a shirt way more this training cycle. It's 3 sizes bigger than the shirt I was in before, and I've touched maybe like 5% of my benches.
So do you need a bigger shirt, or do you need to seat the shirt better, or what is the problem?
It's a great question that we've been trying to figure out.
Okay, well, that's
now we
fine.
have.
Let's take a look.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens.
Suss out.
We'll see what's happening. Well, this is part of the skill. It's fun to be as a sport. Otherwise, if we wanted to see just who was the strongest, we could set up a strain gauge on a bar that didn't move against wires. And you could push on it and see what you could make the gauge move to, and I could push on it, and that's the end. Whoever made the gauge move more produced more force. That's not very fun, is it?
It's very close to powerlifting, and that's why it's not an Olympic sport.
So we have to have something that can go wrong, right? Otherwise, we're just doing a force production test, right? So that's the sport part.
I guess with me, I just want to get through bench, unfortunately. That's the approach for this meet, because this past meet I did a couple of weeks ago, I mean, my bench got significantly worse just because of my shoulder and bicep, like 30, 40 pounds off my bench.
Okay, so
So
why not take an opener and move on?
maybe.
Why
If
not?
everything feels good, maybe a second attempt.
Why? For what reason? Will it be your best?
Maybe not.
Yeah, don't do it. Just take your opener, get in the meet, move on. Have a nice squat, nice deadlift, and there's no pressure.
Right.
I just took that pressure away from you.
Well, Dave had mentioned that too.
Okay, well,
You just
I
needed
think he's right.
Yeah.
people to say it.
I think he's right.
Yeah.
Just take a nice, easy.
So my opener is something I can do raw for reps.
Yeah, and don't even put the shirt on. Just go. Don't even. Why go through all that nonsense? Take an even lighter opener. And get in the
Can you
meet.
not wear a shirt?
Yeah, you can take whatever you want.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I've seen people do.
You don't even have to go off all that nonsense. You know.
Really? Yeah,
So
nothing else.
this would be called a token lift,
Yeah.
right? So when I benched at the World Championships, I took 55 pounds bar and collar for my squat, 55 pounds bar and collar for my deadlift, and I benched 640 something.
Wow.
That's it. I just went to bench. You know, I was 8th in the world because I was last.
Is there no bench only then?
Yeah, it was just a full
It was
meet.
only full.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
World Championships, WPC World Championships, and I didn't have a squat or deadlift, so I took the token. So you could take a token bench. You could take bar and collars
Yeah.
and move on, and
Yeah.
and that way, actually, that actually makes more sense, because then everybody would know that you're just moving past the bench, and you came to deadlift and squat.
So
And nobody would go, oh, she got this was her squat and this was her deadlift, but this was all she could get in the.
They can all go fuck
So my defense is, even if I had a token or decent bench, with my deadlift and squat being better, I would actually get a better total. So
Are you going for a total?
yes,
Okay, well then you're gonna have to bench.
that's what I'm saying.
Well,
I should have said the whole story.
but you could say this meet, because of my shoulders hurt, I'm not going to go for a total. I'm going to go for a great squat, a personal record in a squat, and a personal
Yeah.
record in the deadlift,
Yeah.
and not a personal record in the bench or
Right.
a total.
maybe. Yeah.
And just token it, and then you won't have any pressure.
Right.
You know, so I try to minimize the things that could go wrong. I try to minimize the things that I have to worry about.
Right.
And if you know you're not going to bench all that well because you're hurt,
Right.
that's a good reason not to go for the big total.
And I think that's what the frustrating part was for this last meet, that my bench didn't go so well. It's just I didn't know how to work around it or through it, and I didn't know what to expect at all.
So
And I just
there's an
went for it.
opportunity for your stress about your bench to affect your squat. Is your squat ready for a personal record?
Yeah.
Okay. Is your deadlift ready for a personal record?
Because of my biceps sometimes.
Okay, but your squat's ready.
Yes.
So the bench stress could affect your outcome in the squat. Because you'll be thinking about it.
Right.
You'll be worried about it. But not if you have a token lift.
Right.
You can focus on that record for yourself in the squat.
Right.
You don't even have to take a deadlift then, or a bench.
Yeah.
You just leave. You got what I needed.
Yeah.
Stay and watch me.
But I
Yeah, you can stay and help. You can stay and help people. Okay, so well, think that through.
Okay.
It's not, and then everyone will know that you just came to hit that number in your squat.
One, two.
Yeah, sink, all the way to the bench. Okay, now keep it short. Just short. Yeah. Keep it short. Keep it close to your bench. See if you can finish with it lower. What's the lowest you can keep it to your bench? That's good. Yeah, and then so in this bench, you're going to have somebody lift it out. You
Yeah.
can't do it properly.
Sorry, you had to do that whole thing.
No,
And you
sorry, I
can't-
was trying to not like drop it on you.
Yeah.
I was trying to.
That's not your job. That's her job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She lifts out and she racks it, and you do this part.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I was saying about
Yes, I do.
how close can you keep it and still get your elbows straight? How close? The more you do
Because
this,
I want to do a straight line, I guess.
definitely.
I guess the cue that I always have in my head, especially in gear, is over the face.
No, that's retarded.
The arch is a longer. line
Yeah.
than a straight up.
Right.
Gravity doesn't pull in an angle.
Right.
It pulls straight down.
Right.
Any force that you move in any direction other than straight up is lost to you. It won't help you lift the bar.
So let's say
There's no
you're-
up and back nonsense.
Okay, so if you're benching and you're right here and you're trying to lock it out, so you're saying you move even further this way?
You
Or
should
wouldn't?
feel like you're doing a decline press.
Okay.
It shouldn't come this way at all. You should feel like you're going to your hips.
Okay.
It should feel like I'm pushing away from me down here.
Okay.
Because if you get more and more and more of an arch, it is more and more of a decline.
Right. Got it.
So, and that's just going to hurt your shoulder.
And like the rotating
Coming
of your
back.
elbows doesn't really move the bar path.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that either. Nope, look at this. You just straighten them. You don't do any fucking
No, I didn't mean
twisting.
rotating, but like,
Nah,
I don't know how
you.
to explain it.
No, it is. It's internal rotation of the shoulder.
Yeah, I've been taught
You
that
shouldn't
too.
do it. It's nonsense. No, it's
You have a hard time locking out.
Yeah,
They're
no.
like almost, it's like this.
no. When you have a hard time locking out, make your triceps stronger.
Yes.
Don't put your shoulder at risk.
Right.
Don't. The opposite of stability is mobility.
Yeah.
So if you're moving your shoulder, you're losing stability.
Right.
Period. I'm not going to argue
So
it.
funny. That's a coaching thing I did.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
No. So these aren't wrong because they're my ideas.
No.
These are wrong because they don't follow physics. Right? When I say that's nonsense, what I mean is that doesn't follow how the body's built and physics.
It's also something that you're accustomed to. So if you hear it from someone else
Sure.
as far as coaching, they're going to reiterate what you say, and
Yeah.
that's not necessarily what you're
Yeah.
trying to explain.
And so I don't know where this exactly started at, but I know what I see when people panic at the gym. They race to the rack.
Right.
So I have a suspicion that this up and back thing started with,
Something
I don't know where it started,
Right.
but my suspicion is that people are just trying to not kill themselves. And that became the up and back, up and back.
How about if someone is not as arch?
They need to
And-
start they need to start stretching.
Okay. For instance, like a male. I mean, male aren't as flexible
Yeah.
as, I guess, a female or someone
Especially if they
smaller.
don't bother stretching, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna argue I don't want to do the work.
Right.
I don't want to get more flexible. You get more flexible. Get in a proper position. And until you're getting in the proper position, get in the best position you can manage. And improve it, and improve it, and improve it, and improve it. And one day it'll be pretty damn good.
Do you have anyone bench with their feet not tucked?
Nope.
Really?
Why would you? That's just a chance for your butt to come up. That's another thing that can go wrong.
How
If
about
you're
someone
locked
with
in,
long
you can
legs?
push as hard as you want and it can't lift up. What's that?
How about someone with long legs?
Tuck farther back.
She has to tuck like a mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to see you get her in? Let's see. Hey, how's your hamstring?
It's doing okay.
Can I put you in one?
Okay.
Okay. Do you need to stretch? Do you need to stretch?
I've been
So
stretching all day.
she wonders if somebody
Put me in,
that has
coach.
long legs can
I
I
mean,
did it from
people
the back.
would defend that not everybody should be tucked because you have, for instance,
yeah, no, they should.
what's her name?
Really good.
What's her name? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need more to go on.
Just because you have success doing it wrong doesn't make it right. If you did it right, you would be even more successful. So you can't tell me because somebody is successful or even has a world record
Right.
that they're doing it right.
No, I know multiple people.
They're not. There's only one right physical way to do it. It's physics, it's not my rules. I didn't set up gravity or mechanics or levers, none of that. None of that's, don't blame me for any of that.
All right, coach. Put me in, coach.
Okay,
Oh, they have to go
Yeah, in
back.
the USAPL.
so see how this suits you.
It's a little low for me, but
Sorry.
where my toes at. That's okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Say, gravity, it's not just your friend, it's a law.
It's a law.
See her knees are lower than the bench.
Yes, David, I see everyone can do that except me.
Good.
Wow.
Presto. Okay,
And
get
you
out.
can get leg drive.
There is no leg drive. Quit saying that.
Maybe
There is no tooth fairy. It doesn't exist.
your definition of leg
You
drive
can't,
is
no matter
different
how
from what
much you want it to
Yeah,
exist.
it is. It's just
It
creating
doesn't.
tension
It's
to
tension.
draw back.
I think the
to left.
wording is where you're
That's
getting
what I'm- and
a
that's what we're trying to
miscommunication
have,
here.
Yeah.
There's no drive. You
Right.
just flex and hold still and you
Right.
grab the bench.
I see what she's saying by
I
drive.
do too. I do too.
It's just the
Came in as a
squeeze.
mediator.
It's not like all of a sudden you just use it.
Oh, yeah,
It's just
we
something
train
to
every
do.
day.
Yeah.
The leg's tight. Tightness in your legs.
Exactly.
The
So this
tight-
is what I'm trying to say with.
I understand.
I feel a little bit of pressure in my toes.
Okay.
I do. But I'm feeling most of the drive from my shoulders.
Right,
because
right.
we've worked on this a lot.
Right.
It's not, we've worked on this a lot.
This is like a whole new thing for me. It's so funny.
This is just
So many
physics.
different coaches
It's
now.
physics. No, I'm not a coach.
Well,
We're
you
not
know-
talking about coaching.
Right.
We're talking about physics, and you can't. It's the law. They're not my laws. I can't change mechanics.
But I do
and
have a hard
levers.
time getting in that position unless he puts me in. So he said when we
But
do
you'll
our
get better
meeting,
at it.
he's going to put me in.
Yeah, I will. But you'll get better at it. And you know, and so I understand that there's a desire to say that person did something spectacular, and they did it this way, so I'm going to do it that way. That doesn't make it right.
That's what I'm saying.
They were successful. I understand, but
Yeah.
you see the people that want to do this. They want to say, I'm going to bench with my feet out because so-and-so did it and they set a world record. And I'm going to tell you, so-and-so may have done even better. That world record would have been even higher. So success and failure don't have anything to do with physics.
Right.
You know, but I'm going to tell you that the more you follow physics, the more chance you have for success. So there are people that have made shitty deadlifts with monumental weights. That doesn't make them right.
Right.
It makes them a champion. It makes them strong.
Right.
But they would have been even stronger if they had obeyed the laws. And there's no way to prove that, right? But it stands to reason. It's a logical assumption we can make. If they didn't move it as far, they would have been able to use more weight. So, I mean, you can make the argument, but I'm always going to go back to physics. Because I don't have to argue physics. Those are already set up for me by Isaac Newton. So I don't have to argue that.
Right.
You're arguing with him. So this is just how I took what I had and made the most out of it. And everybody, even if they have great flexibility and or you know, any advantage,
Right.
they should still get every other advantage they can because their numbers will go up. If that's the goal, if the numbers are going up, then you could do everything the hard way and say, well, you know, I'm going to bench flat as a board,
Right.
and I'm going to bench this far straight up from my shoulders, and that's the sport. Okay, let's see, that will be the sport then. Everybody will do that, but that's not the sport because I didn't make the rules of the sport either. The rules of the sport, you have to touch from here to arm's length. It says nothing about the distance. I wish it did. I wish the rules where you had to move it a certain amount of distance for it to count. So these guys that have a barrel chest and short arms,
Right.
and they move it this far, and I got to move it this far? You know, that's not fair to me. But I didn't complain. I did everything I could within the laws of physics to minimize their advantage over me. And I did okay. Concentrate on one thing each set. So what do you want to do on this set best?
Drive my upper back.
Okay, so let's focus on that then.
Now I have a question about the other part, unfortunately.
You don't have to worry about it, but I'll answer it.
Do you care where the feet
Nope.
are in terms of?
Nope, I like it
closeness to
tight.
the bench? Okay.
In fact, one time I got flagged because there was a bar in the middle and I didn't know it, and apparently my heel had moved over to it, and I made the lift and they disqualified it. It was in Vienna, Austria. So I had to repeat.
Never going there again. They do have very good marzipan candy.
Yeah.
I'll lift it completely.
Okay, so just concentrate mostly on that back drive then. And feel that when the bar moves up, you feel the pressure go down. Feel where it is. And the higher it is on your neck and traps, the better you're doing.
Do I look like I'm high enough on my neck and traps now?
No,
Okay.
you're too flat. But
Yeah.
but the more you rotate your torso, the more of a leveraged decline press you'll get. And the lower the less distance you have to take it down to your chest. That's better. Yeah. All right, now sink it in. Now before you start, just tense up your legs and move your legs this way and lift your sternum. Good.
Yes.
Now you're ready. Go ahead. Now short stroke it and drive what you're, yeah. Feel the pressure into the bench. Boom. That's oppositional, and it's directly oppositional.
Right here.
Yeah, it's hard to do reps. Now, pull it up.
I feel like I was not thinking. I was trying to think about it, and it was not like clicking that time for some reason.
It's okay.
I don't know what I was.
So let's just leave it at that, and then get through the meet, and then start working on, one of these things at a time, and put them all together eventually. Every one will help. You just pick one, maybe for one workout, and then pick another for another workout, or just work for a couple months on one thing. But the more of these things you can put into it, the more your chances are for success. Because if you don't do this, then the only way you can improve your numbers is to get stronger.
Yeah.
Right now, you can get stronger and you can get better leverage. So you have you have lots of potential, right? The opportunities are double for you right now. Until you perfect your form. When your form is perfect, then you just have to get stronger just like everybody else. But right now you can get both. So that's pretty exciting, right?
Yes.
Good. Okay, is that good? Is that what we wanted to do?
I'm going to put my shirt on.
Okay, let's see it. Let's take a look then.
Okay.
I just don't want you to get sore or
No,
your backs are already, okay.
I'm good. I
hope
promise.
not.
I wouldn't lie to you.
Yeah,
Maybe I
don't
would.
blame me then. You're like, hey, I thought I wasn't going to get sore. That bastard.
No, I wouldn't blame you. Remember, I can't lift this.
Yes, I got you.
Which is the bicep that goes out?
Left.
So stay close for the left. It's not going to happen. Just want to know. Stay high.
Press.
There you go.
It actually makes it harder to touch with the new setup.
That's a good thing because
Yeah.
there's more rebound.
Right. Yeah.
Because all this touching.
So when I come down, am I going like this at all?
No,
Okay.
keep that.
Right.
And
You'll have
See,
to
I
keep
don't-
chasing that if you do that. There's a technique you can master that way, but man, yeah, but it's
I
going to
tried
be,
to teach it to her 2 weeks
you
ago.
can, but it's just another, so the more motion,
It was a good
the more mobility, the less stability, and the more mobility, the more things that can go wrong. I like to just get as few things that can move, few moving parts. I mean, simplify it, and then you can move from simple to more complex if you choose to.
Right.
I would start with the simplest possible thing for mastery, and then experiment out. And you can do that belly flop bench.
What is this? I'm
traumatized.
The way George bench?
Yeah. What's the George?
He was one to contradict him. He had his feet way out in front, but
Yeah.
actually basically almost did a full crunch sit up.
And like even.
When they allowed us to,
like this?
when they allowed us to start lifting our head,
He
then you could rotate. The shirt would tighten up here. You'd be this far away,
Right.
and you would rotate down to your belly, and that would be a touch, and then you would get to buck.
Almost like a hip thrust, kind of. Like,
Well, no hip. It was just, but it was for the upper body, and so then
Chest
you flip it to here, and it already has momentum, and then all you got to do is tricep, but it's already moving. So that was known as a heave in the beginning when I started, and you weren't allowed to heave. You weren't even allowed to sink it down
Right. Yeah.
and push up.
Right.
But then they changed the rule, and so the shirt tightens up here. It's this far away from touching, and you rotate, and then you use your torso strength, but you have to train that
Yeah.
too. But that's another thing, and so that got away from guys like crazy.
Right.
I mean, it went all over the place because it's moving.
And you had to be able to flare. You had to keep your elbows under the
Yeah.
bar because when you go to heave it,
Right.
it's not going to go straight.
No, it's not going to go straight at all.
Right back to the rack.
Yeah.
So as it's going back this way, you got to be turning your elbows
Yeah.
fast enough to stay
So
to the bar.
it becomes a hell of a skill, and it's
Big time skill.
yeah. He basically put himself underneath the bench,
Hell of a skill.
and if he could control it, it was like a world record. And then most of them were missed. But I think one year
It's like
he
a
did.
batting average with home runs.
Yeah, I think one year, when I kept track, he did 15 lifts. He missed all of them but 2, but both were world records. So I mean, is that worth it? I don't know. You know, he wasn't a good bencher, but man, he had 2 world records.
But the difference
Just
is
like
though,
that.
he didn't have a squat to salvage or a deadlift to pull.
Yeah, no,
You know,
it's all
you-
bench.
You can play that risk card on the
Right.
bench if that's all you're doing.
I mean, 2 world records in the same year, and everything else was a miss.
But you had to hit it.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be just right, and he hit it just right twice in the same year.
I still have a little bit of ways to put that on.
There's no, I don't
okay?
feel
Do you want me
any
to put on for
pressure,
this?
nothing
No,
on my
we'll keep
shoulder.
going.
It feels
Good.
so much better.
Nice,
Yes.
You want to try to go up a little bit more? See how
very
it goes?
good.
Yeah, I put my opener as 185 even.
Because I work in the city. I can come up there.
For the